Here's a small rusted out area at the rear of the rocker panel, forward of the wheel arch on the passenger side. The skin showed a hole, and then dark spots like that are very suspicious, even though they're not currently a hole. They are when you clean them up. So we cut this off and get to the back side, and the wheelhouse has a small rusted out hole here too. So we need to get in there and clean all that. One of the major reasons why this rusts out is because, as you can see down here, there's just no gap between the inner panel and the skin. So that just retains moisture. Once it gets wet, it has no opportunity to dry out, and the two panels rust each other out. This cavity back in here is actually the window cavity. Way back in there would be the interior panel that you see when you're sitting in the car. You'd see the back side of it there. And then when the window goes up and down, it goes up and down inside of here. So the hole up here, it can allow moisture and dirt to get down in there. So we cut the panel out big enough to make sure that we have a good solid edge, because we want to know that this edge is good. We don't want to try and weld to a thin edge. We'll get in here and we'll clean everything that we expose while we have the opportunity, and we'll put some corrosion resistant paint in there, and we'll patch this and then build a new piece for on there, and it'll be great. I might mention too, you can see the track here of all my little stud guns nails. There was a crease through the quarter panel here. I suspect it came in from the backside and went forward. Maybe the car was backing up and it hit something, because it stopped at the molding. There was no damage here. And every one of these little discolored dots is a stud gun nail. And the old time solution was to drill a hole and then use a sheet metal screw and use a slide hammer and pull that out, and then you'd fill it in, and on the back side of the panel there'd be a bunch of what we call Bondo worms going through the holes. And plastic fillers are absorbent. They take moisture, so you'd have all these Bondo worms going through there, and they would eventually soak up enough moisture that the panel would start to rust out under the Bondo because of all those holes. So the stud gun's kind of nice because it doesn't give you a hole, just temporarily nails a stud on there, and you can put your slide hammer on and pull them out. So this was mild, so mostly just leaned on or pulled on the nail and used the body spoon at the same time and bumped on either side of the crease, and this came out really quite nice. This feels pretty good. It's going to take a really light skim. This doesn't move quite as much because there's so much strength in that shape, so it doesn't quite move as much, but it's come out some, and just a small amount of filler through this area, and that'll be perfect. But that's what these are, the traces from the stud gun. This will all be ground, and those little bumps will all go away. So, good little tool. It also does shrinking. These darker, larger spots are where I just used the stud gun itself without a nail and made hot spots, and each one of those will shrink a little bit when they cool, and the bulge that was here went away because of those. So you can tighten up a loose panel with the stud gun too.